You sit down, Rhea. Just going to do a little vlog here. I'm out on Saturday, and the weather in this country of the last week or two has just been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Rhea's loving it. I keep pouring water on her and giving her drinks. Yeah, that's a thumbs up from Rhea. But I'm at Begmore Stone Circles here. As you can see behind me, fantastic location near the Sperrins. And I just wanted to do an update about this incredible weather and maybe a little bit about NLCs. But what amazing weather we've been getting here. We've had very strong high pressure. I'd say, I don't know, maybe the last 3 weeks or more. And it's just got better and better with time. It seems to be every single day now. We're just having blue skies, warm sunshine, calm conditions, clear nights. It's just unreal, absolutely unreal. It's like the perfect kind of high pressure you can imagine. And temperatures in the 24, nearly 25 degrees Celsius range. It's just every day is the same. It's just unreal, absolutely unreal. So I'm out today, I'm on the hunt. The last couple of days there's been reports and video footage of dust devils over UK and Ireland. And I've been driving around the roads the last few days on the hunt trying to find these dust devils. And unfortunately the odds are actually astronomical of being in the right place at the right time to capture one, unless you're working maybe in a dusty, there's people coming here, in a dusty like work yard or a quarry, or a farmer out in the fields. Maybe you have a better chance, or where you spend a lot of time around a certain location. Impossible to predict, they could literally appear anywhere. So I've just been driving around looking for them. So I stopped off at Begmore here. I'm scanning some of the dusty back roads and trails, looking for evidence of anything going up. I've seen them years ago a couple of times. I never got them on camera or on video, but I would love to get a good one on video. So that's what I'm doing today, just hunting for dust devils and stalking fields, looking for whirlwind phenomena. The convective situation is very quiet since that big thunderstorm we had in May. We've had high pressure ever since, so there's nothing to chase, but I'm not complaining because the weather's just fabulous and it's been clear every night, and I've been doing my NLC watches every single night. I haven't seen Noctilucent clouds yet. It's now the 2nd of June, so it should appear. I mean, there's a couple of suspect reports that just appeared on Twitter this morning from Europe, possibly the first structured one of the season. It wasn't amazing looking anyway, but it's a start. There's a possibility with the solar cycle being so strong as it is now, with a lot of solar flares and such greater energy output from our star, that the NLCs may be affected this year. They seem to have the opposite trend to the aurora. With the aurora solar maximum, you tend to get more solar activity and hence more aurora displays. But during solar maximum, the NLCs actually wane in activity. That's because of the extra ultraviolet radiation affecting the Earth's upper atmosphere, and in theory it's supposed to reduce the chances of water molecules forming around these meteoritic dust particles in the mesosphere, and hence the less chance of them freezing into ice crystals and become visible from the ground. So increased solar activity is not a good thing for NLCs, and that's probably why we're not seeing anything dramatic yet. But having said that, you just never know with NLCs. You could have nothing and you end up getting a couple of good displays in the middle of the season, or a good display could happen tomorrow night. They're just impossible to predict. Even in a bad season you can still get a good display. So I'm holding out for a couple of good ones this year, hoping to shoot a time lapse. So it's been so many clear nights, I'm actually burnt out watching for NLCs. I'm usually giving it for the first half of the night, about 1 o'clock or afterwards, scanning the horizon and going out locations and checking the northwest, northeast horizons just in case, and then I call the night after 1 o'clock. In theory you could get a really good display maybe in the pre-dawners around 3 o'clock in the morning, as the sun starts to come back up again, but I haven't stayed up that late yet, so I'm still waiting on the better displays to appear first before doing all-nighters. But anyway, I have been doing a lot of watching and doing a lot of hunting for dust devils and anything related to this high pressure. And another note, the sun actually is spectacular at the minute. The most dramatic solar disk I've seen since the last solar maximum. I've seen, the other day I was observing through my ETX, just a low power 26mm eyepiece, and I counted 8 at least 8 active regions, 8 large sunspot groups across the solar disk. They're just propagating across the disk the entire way from the west to east, and there's a new group now just appeared over the eastern limb, which is very complex looking, and according to Space Weather, it may have potential for solar flare. It actually is producing solar flares, X-class solar flares. So the sun is actually a fantastic thing to watch at the minute. There's hardly any night time now, so you can just pick out a few galaxies. You can still look at the stars, hence the Milky Way, some of the brighter deep sky objects. But this time of year, really, it's the NLCs, the Noctilucent clouds, are the main show in Northern Ireland, because the sky's just so bright now, and it's going to keep getting brighter after the solstice. And other than that, the sun itself, being able to observe a star in the daytime, it's just phenomenal, and see detail on it, as long as you know how to do it safely, of course, any newbies out there. With my ETX, I do the old-fashioned approach. I've made a homemade sheet of cardboard with a bit of paper on it, and I just hold it over the eyepiece, and I project the image of the sun onto the sheet of card, and you can see the solar disk, and you can change the size of the disk projected depending on how far or close away the card is from the eyepiece. So it's a very simple, primitive, yet very safe way of observing the sun. Or you can go all out and buy a really good solar filter and put it over the aperture end, the front of the telescope. So as long as you're safe, that's the main thing. You don't want to be looking in the eyepiece directly at the sun, even by accident, especially through finder scopes. But anyway, one thing about the sun is incredible at the minute. I actually can't wait to see what it's going to produce if the sky gets dark again in August, September onwards, right through the autumn period, because we could get some really epic auroras. And I would say there's a good chance of very strong auroras even over the summer. Unfortunately, the sky is too bright for us. We can't really see them. We might see a hint of them, but they're not really going to be a photogenic target for us. But having said that, I'm kind of holding out for late July, even early August, maybe get a late season NLC display with aurora. And I've always wanted to get an aurora over NLCs. That would be quite incredible. So you never know. But anyway, I'm just enjoying this weather. Just phenomenal. Out in this ancient location at Begmore. There's been a few weak NLC displays seen in Ireland during the week. Very, very weak, just very subtle veil type glows. Most people wouldn't recognise them. A few photographers have caught them on camera. It looks like the real deal to me anyway. There's a lot of confusion with early season NLC displays. This happens every year. A lot of people are used to seeing the complex displays, and then when they see these reports and images on social media of weak activity, they're very dismissive of it and sceptical, even downright hostile sometimes. And usually rows happen around this time of year every time they start the NLC season. And it's really because the people who are criticising the images actually don't know what weak NLCs look like. You have to be observing NLCs a very long time to know what the very faint, low level, wispy veil type structures actually look like before a more proper structure develops. And it takes a lot of experience, a lot of years doing that. The thing is, most people are confusing strips of cirrus cloud low in the sky in the twilight. Hello, pet. And you get the bright twilight behind in the gaps between the cirrus, and that gives the impression of banding NLC structures, which of course it isn't. The best thing to do in that situation is just take images and zoom in and see if there's any further structure, or get a pair of binoculars and observe the clouds, because NLCs bear magnification well, whereas normal weather clouds, tropospheric clouds, don't. They tend to be more softer and diffuse. Plus, weather clouds are in silhouette against the background twilight because the sun isn't illuminating them properly, whereas the NLCs are so much higher than weather clouds. They're up in the mesosphere, 82 kilometers high, that they still reflect the sunlight, but even though the sun is gone far below the horizon. So as long as the sun is between 6 and 16 degrees below the horizon, you're in the NLC visibility zone in the middle of northern latitudes, then you have a chance of seeing these clouds. And the easiest way to do it, there's no point looking at radar and all that there, because it's not really a real-time solution. But the best thing to do is just scan the horizon every night with the naked eye, the northwest, north and northeast, a couple of hours after sunset, especially around midnight or so. And especially focus your attention on the sky in the vicinity of the star Capella in Auriga. NLCs tend to manifest in that zone quite a bit. Just scan. If there's any NLCs there and they're any way bright, or they're obvious, you won't mistake them for anything else. So very easy to spot. And again, if you happen to be up a bit later in the night for whatever reason, check the sky again around 3 o'clock in the morning. But once you get into June and July, either side of the summer solstice, The sun is not far below the horizon the entire night, so in theory NLCs can last all night long as soon as they appear. So one thing beginning observers mistakes they do is they see a nice NLC display in the evening sky, they go out, they shoot it with their camera, they're impressed, and the NLCs start to drop in height because the sun's getting lower below the horizon, the sky darkens somewhat, and the NLCs hug the horizon, and the show seems to be over and they go in for the night. But what happens is the sun will start to rise again, and then before dawn the NLC will start to come back again and become more prominent in the sky, and sometimes they can be even more spectacular than they were in the evening sky, which is really cool. So if you're really into your Noctilucent clouds, it pays to be, tell you the truth, it pays to be up all night long. It's exhausting. People think summer is actually a very easy time for observers of the sky, photographers, sky watchers, because there's hardly any dark nights, but it's actually the opposite. If you're into NLCs, it's exhausting. You have to be up late all night long, every clear night, dusk and dawn, scanning the sky for these NLCs, and if they appear, you're literally out shooting them to 3, half 3 in the morning or more. So they can be tiring. Anyways, but there's a nice gentle breeze picking up now. Still scanning for dust devils here. Maybe someday I'll see one. But I was chatting with Owen Rice there online last night. The models are still showing high pressure, but there's a possibility of maybe unstable, elevated convection, maybe coming up in 10 days or so time, or maybe next weekend. So there's a small chance in the future maybe we'll have some thunderstorm potential. So I'm keeping an eye on that one. I'm looking forward to getting chasing again. I love this great weather here, but I'm starting to miss the action a bit. So hopefully it gets some more storms soon, and I certainly hope the rest of June, July, August, early September is very active for thunderstorms. I have a lot of goals I want to achieve and things I want to catch in cameras. I'm hoping this is the year it does it. But so far I'm impressed. The season has been very active even since March, and we had that good thunderstorm there in Ballymena during May there. That was fantastic, so that sort of ticked the box, kept me going. Seen a great Sunpillar. You'll see it on my website, and if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, you've already seen the drone footage. Beautiful Sunpillar. Paul Martin tipped me off to it. I was actually in the house at the time watching Netflix with my wife, and he tipped me off and said there was a spectacular Sunpillar visible. So I went outside, I seen it, I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't have time to go out the road, drive out with a camera in case it disappeared, so I just put the drone up, and I couldn't believe it. It was absolutely spectacular. Even in the wide angle field of view of the Mavic 3, and that's a wide camera, it looked very tall. I would say it's the tallest Sunpillar I've ever seen, and the most spectacular I've ever seen. But not only that, it began to develop a cross shape due to like enhanced ice crystals reflecting sunlight and passing a strip of cirrus. It looked like a crucifix in the sky. So I was able to use the zoom in the Mavic 3 and sort of show that feature better in the video there. So, and I've seen a lot of Sunpillars over the years because I'm big into atmospheric optics. I've seen really good ones, but I've never in my life seen a tall Sunpillar, a tall, bright, striking Sunpillar with a cross form. So that's really exceptional. So I haven't seen them get in 25 years of sky watching. So I'm quite proud of that video, and I'm glad I got some images of it, and I'll have a report on my website soon as well. I'm going to write that one up. But in the meantime, I'm looking out just to see what nature can give me. There's been amazing optics display over Northern Ireland 2 days previous to that pillar. I didn't see them because we didn't have the cirrus cloud here, but in the eastern and southeastern parts, there were incredible halo displays and upper tangent arcs, circumzenithal arcs, wedge inner arcs, the full 360 parahelic circle, sundogs, pillars, you name it, a 46-degree halo, super lateral arc, I think it was, the whole very prominent in the skies across Northern Ireland. Some incredible images online. They even made the homepage of spaceweather.com for 2 days in a row, Northern Ireland. So I'd say those are the best optics displays that have happened maybe this generation, and certainly at least in the last 10-15 years, maybe even more. Really spectacular stuff. I really wish I had seen that. So, but it still happened yet. But anyways, people coming here, so I'm going to call. So hope you're all keeping well, and looking forward to more action soon. So stay tuned.